a little bit with Tuesday off?
Well, I don't think so. You know, you're always concerned about practicing on Sunday. I told the kids when I, got the job that, I didn't feel like it was right to practice on Sunday. I felt like the Lord helped, got me the job, and that's how I feel. But with Tuesday being off, we elected not to do the request. And I'll tell you why, Trey, because we were off Friday, Saturday. I didn't really want to go off Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. Sunday was a good practice, not as crisp on offense, but the effort was there. And then Monday was a really good practice in all three phases. I think the kids appreciated how we handled the week of Pine Bluff. I think they appreciated that. I think they appreciated the way we handled the off week, with it being way more film, much more film, less physicality, a lot more walks. And then I think we've got a fresh football team. So the kids seem to like it. I've liked it. I was concerned about it, but I've liked the way it's gone to this point, and we'll go back basically to a Wednesday, Thursday combination of practice today. It'll be.
How has KJ looked in practice this week?
I'll tell you this, Monday, I thought it was as good a day as he's had. Really in the 9-on-9 part of it, he really stepped up around the rush game and made some great throws on Sunday. The 2-minute drill, he made a nice throw there for a touchdown, and I think he's playing with a lot of confidence.
Thanks, Coach.
Scotty. Coach, you mentioned Bryce Stevens on the teleconference as a guy that moved up at the slot. I'm curious what you thought of his progression and what he showed you guys during the bye week.
Well, I think Bryce is a little bit as a freshman, he is coming on. He's starting to understand the offense. He's starting to play a little bit faster. I don't think he's where he's going to be because I still think he's thinking too much out there. And what do I do? Is this right? Playing maybe a little bit slower than what he's going to. But I've been pleased with him. We've got some different little things in for him that he's looked good. He's looked good doing this week. So he's definitely the number 2 slot at this moment. At this point.
Coach, I know you've talked about Dominic Johnson getting more carries and more touches and stuff. He's obviously earned it. But do you have like a number in mind of how many carries you'd like? 15, 20?
Well, yeah, depending on how things are going, you'd like to. He's a big back. He's a guy that can wear you down. So I think that 15 range is probably about right, knowing that we have still 3 other backs, but he's earned the right to start for us, and we're anticipating him having another good game, even though we know how talented and how good Mississippi State's done this year against the run. But he's a big back that's proven himself, and he's earned it, and that's what we need to do with him. And I think that number of 15, probably closer to minimum than maximum, would be a good start for him.
Thanks, guys.
Hey, Sam, following up what I asked you on the SEC call about your in-house analytics, the overall efficiency of the offense, would you say you've been pretty pleased with the balance and efficiency of it, and where you feel like you can get better these last 4?
Well, I think we had to get better on first down, on offense. We've been a little lower than what we would want to be on third down, staying on the field. Certainly our fourth down has not been good at all, but especially the 4th and shorts, but I think it's more of a game by game deal. we've had some games where we've been very efficient in those categories I just spoke of, and then some where we went over. And we just have to become more efficient. I'm more concerned, honestly, about first down and first down efficiency than I am anything else right now.
Okay. And Mississippi State had not won in the state of Arkansas until 2013. And since then, they've been a pretty solid program. I wonder what you think about facing this program in its current state.
I think they're a really good football team, physical. When I was here three years in a row, we had really good games with Mississippi State, but we didn't win any of them in 13, 14, 15. I believe one of them was over in Little Rock, if I'm correct there. I believe I am. And they were number one, I think, when we went and played them at one point. I think they beat us 14-10 or somewhere around in there. It was a close football game. But they've always been a physical team, well-coached team. This year, if you look at them, they lost to Memphis by 2, LSU by 3. Of course, you can turn around and look at, that Louisiana Tech game where they came back and won, but they could easily be 6-1 right now. Or excuse me, 7-1, I guess. With the only big loss they've had is Alabama. They're a really good football team, and they play very similar opponents that we have. They go with their quarterback on offense, and he's been, obviously played his career game last week. So they've done a really good job in recruiting the portal, and the kids are playing extremely hard. And I really like what they're doing on defense as well, because they're hard to block because they're big and they move. And so, like I said earlier today, they're really good against the stop and the rush, and we're a pretty good running team. So, something's got to give on Saturday.
Obviously, you talked a little bit about the games, being game times, not being able to get as many people as you want here. How important was it this summer in June, y'all getting so many kids in here to take a look at campus and being able to be so successful with those guys?
Yeah, we've been talking about, you have to talk about recruiting. It's recruiting is work, and it's a daily deal. Talked a little bit about camp set up yesterday, actually, and how can we increase the number of student athletes on our campus, whether that be having some type of team camp, which we didn't last year. We need to, maybe less 7-on-7, maybe more individual type camps. But it was a big deal for us, if you look at our first class, and nobody really was able to look, maybe the first time we ever really saw some of our guys in the first and second class were the day they checked into the quads. We couldn't get out. This year, with having that opportunity, was big. I think you're going to see less mistakes made in recruiting, and you'll be able to find more diamond in the rough type guys that you have on campus that you feel a lot better about than maybe even what their tape looks like, but you've had them and were able to video them and things of that nature. So I think having this summer, like you say, was very, very big to us.
Nate? Yeah, Sam, I was just wondering what you thought of the college football committee or the playoff committee rating Mississippi State when AP and other polls haven't.
Yeah, certainly I watched it last night hoping that we would, have an opportunity to get in the top 25. Obviously, we haven't won enough games, haven't won enough power ranking games to get that done. Like Mississippi State, I saw that they were 17th. I think they deserve it. They beat 3 ranked teams. I believe 3 of the teams that are were in the rankings last night. And so even though we have identical records, they beat more, a few better teams than we have. And I thought it was fair, the rankings. You know, I vote each week myself, and seemed like they got it pretty close to right. Not everybody's going to be pleased with, you know, the rankings, and that's college football, and not everybody's got an opinion. But I thought they pretty much got it right, and it'll all shake out in the end anyway.
Thank you.
Yes, Sam, I know KJ and your running backs get a lot of the attention because they're the guys actually carrying the ball. But how big of a role has your offensive line played in the success of your run game so far this year?
Really big. And what they've done to this point, you know, I think you take out, I know you can't, but you take out the Georgia game. I think to this point, I think they've really handled movement well, and they've handled different schematics against them well, and they were prepared and ready to go. Now, I'm not saying they weren't prepared against Georgia. Georgia's just different animal than everybody else right now, and maybe Mississippi State's the same way. I don't know. You know, we can't speak for those that we haven't played yet, but I like the way that we progressed. I think we're getting better. You know, I'm very pleased when we didn't have Wagner. Clary coming in and doing his thing, and we've had different guys. Luke Jones stepped up for us, you know, in different things. So I've been pleased with that group. Be hard not to be because of the progression that they've made this year.
And I noticed Trey Knox was moving around pretty good the other day at practice. Do you think he's going to be back in the mix this week and be able to kind of give you kind of what he did against Ole Miss?
Yeah, absolutely. I think that's the expectations. You know, again, that week off, you know, between Pine Bluff and certainly Mississippi State, I think that helped him as well. And we were slow to roll him in there on Sunday, but I thought he looked pretty good. Like you just spoke of, I thought he looked pretty good. I think he'll be ready to go.
Hey, Sam, you talked about Traylon Burks the other day, that he got a nice rest during the open date physically and looked pretty good the other day. How's he looked in practice this week? And do you get a sense he's really kind of refreshed physically?
I do. I mean, I think he's looked really good. We're still limiting some of his reps to this point, and he basically didn't do anything the week before. You know, you talk about injuries, and sometimes I address them, sometimes I don't. There's a lot of different reasons for that, you know, opponents. I don't want to hurt the kid in the draft. You know, there's a lot of reasons that you don't comment on injuries. However, I think he's back healthy now and ready to go, and I think he'll be just fine.
And what have you thought of his season to date? And can he play better? I mean, is there anything more he can do this last few games he hadn't already done?
I think he can play better because we can get him the ball more. I think, you know, I don't know that he can play better than what he has with the limited amount of touches that he's had. I think we have to get the ball more to him and let him show his dynamic skills. And I think he needs to run the ball a little bit more than what he has, and we need to throw some screens to him a little bit more than what we have and things of that nature, because we know he can go down the field and catch a one-on-one contested ball. But there's easier ways to get him the ball than that, and we've got to find those ways, and I think we have those in for the game plan.
Okay, thanks.
All right, let me know if you've got one more for Coach Tom.
Sam, this is a few weeks old, but I'm wondering if you heard back from the SEC on that Jashad Stewart tackle against Auburn, if there was a explanation that suited you on that deal that looked like a fumble, and then the pass interference on the ball that was way out of bounds.
Yeah, we actually received that information on the pass interference that, you know, it was outside of the box. You know, there's a box out there that runs, I don't know, I think it's 5 yards, and the ball hit outside of that. Usually that's something that they go on for being an uncatchable pass, which the ball was definitely outside of that. And then the same explanation that I gave you before on the fumble. Anytime you pick a guy up, then that basically makes him down is the explanation that we received on that.
All right, thanks, coach. Appreciate your time.
All right, guys. Good to see you.